Hi everyone. I hope everyone's being safe and washing their hands and getting a little bit of outside time. This week we're talking about insects. What is an insect? An insect is a bug that has two antennae, a head, an abdomen or a belly, and then a thorax or a bottom. It's starting to get warmer out. We're going to start seeing a lot more insects and bugs outside. One thing I like to talk about is what they eat. Well, just like us, some of them eat meat or other insects, and some of them just eat plants, flowers, grass, things like that, like Mr. Sean. I don't eat grass, but Mr. Sean is a vegetarian, remember. Today, I want to talk about something that's not an insect, but a lot of times people get confused and they don't really know. So today I want to talk about a spider. Now, what makes a spider different from an insect? A spider has 8 legs when an insect only has 6. So today we're going to read about Sammy the spider, and his first Passover. Sammy Spider was fast asleep when high in his web in the Spiro's living room. As the warm spring sun shone through the open window, Sammy snuggled deeper into his cozy web. What do spiders use web for? A spider web is like its home. It uses it to collect other insects so that they can eat. A sudden swooshing noise startled him. "Mother!" screamed Sammy. "A monster has broken our web!" That's not a monster. Sammy scurried across the ceiling and hid in the corner. Mrs. Spider hurried to comfort him. "Don't worry, Sammy. It's not a monster. That's called a broom, and Mr. Spiro is using it to dust the ceiling. Each spring, the Spiros give their house a special cleaning to prepare for Passover. Springtime is the perfect time for us to make a new web too." "I don't know how to make a web," Sammy said sadly. "It's okay, I'll teach you," said his mother, giving him a big hug. "Will we celebrate Passover too?" said Sammy. "Silly little Sammy," laughed his mother. "Spiders don't celebrate Passover. Spiders spin webs." So we begin with one thread. Then we spin a second and a third, and finally we spin the fourth to make a square. But Sammy wasn't listening. "What is that thing Mr. Spiro is putting on the table?" he asked. "We have our first shape. We have a square." "That's called matzah," Mrs. Spider replied. "Tonight is the first night of Passover, and the Spiros will have a special meal called a cider." Cider? Then Mrs. Spiro brought a big platter of roasted eggs, bones, parsley, charset, and bitter herbs. "That's called the cider plate," said Mrs. Spider. The Spiros will eat special foods for their cider." "Do spiders eat special food for Passover?" asked Sammy. "Silly little Sammy," answered Mother. "Spiders don't celebrate Passover. Spiders eat flies and other insects. They catch them and spin them in the web and wait till they meet them. And I need help making that web. Watch me attach a circle to form the outside of our web." And there's our second shape. And the circle. But Sammy wasn't listening. He was hovering over a silky strand above the table, watching the Spiros at their cider. Crunch went the matzah as Mr. Spiro broke it in half. Sammy watched him wrap one of the broken pieces in a bright red napkin. Then, when Josh wasn't looking, Mr. Spiro hid it on the top of the bookcase. Sammy climbed back to the ceiling. "Mother," he asked, Why did Mr. Spiro hide the matzah? It's called an efkimen, Mrs. Spider answered. After the meal, Josh will try to find it. If he does, he'll get a prize. What fun, Sammy said. Can I play too? Silly little Sammy, said the mother. Spiders don't celebrate Passover. Spiders spin webs. And I really need your help spinning this triangle into the circle. But Sammy wasn't listening. He looked longingly at the hidden efkimen. All right, sighed Mrs. Spider. You may watch the cider for a while. Sammy quickly crossed the ceiling and stepped right above the bookcase. As Josh finished reciting the 4 questions, he listened as the family sung Passover songs and took turns reading the story of Moses, who led the Jewish people to freedom. And then we have a third shape, triangle. The Spiros began their cider meal. Sammy had never seen so much food. At last, it was time to search for the efkimen. Sammy wished he could help, but he remembered his mother's words, and spiders don't celebrate Passover. Swinging from a strand of webbing, he watched as Josh searched every corner of the room. When Josh neared the bookshelf, Sammy got excited. Something shiny caught Josh's eye. It was an amazing little web with a beautiful Jewish star inside of it. Whoa, breathed Josh as he went closer to look. He spotted the efkimen just below Sammy's glistening web. Whoa, I found it, he squealed. As for what happens in the winter sports season, unfortunately... Sammy glowed with pride. I did it, Mother. I helped Josh find the efkimen. And you also spun a beautiful web, Mrs. Spider answered. You used all the shapes I taught you. In his excitement, Sammy didn't even know that he had spun a web. As he looked back on the bookshelf, he beamed. It was easy, Mother. You make a square, a circle, and a triangle. Then you pass over with another triangle, and that's how spiders celebrate Passover. The end. Today we read a book about a spider, and a spider is not an insect. A spider has 8 legs, when an insect only has 6. I hope everyone's being safe, washing their hands, getting a little bit of outside time. I miss everyone. Bye, guys.